So why can we watch hundreds of videos on dopamine detoxing and how social media destroys our brains, but every time we try, we can never actually quit? It's because we're thinking about it all wrong. All we do is focus on taking away all the unhealthy sources of dopamine, but then all we're left with is feeling really bad, and so obviously we just revert back to old habits. The key is to replace it with a system that makes it genuinely effortless to skip social media altogether. I'm Dr. Jean Fernando. I'm a medical doctor working in the UK, and I'm a published researcher in addiction psychiatry. And this 3-step system might seem extreme to some people, and of course it is not medical advice I'm giving you, but this is genuinely the advice that I would give you if you were my friend, using all of the science that I know right now. Step 1 is to use your emotional fuel. As a doctor, I had patients that were smoking for like 40 or 50 years and could never break the habit. And then when they had to come into the hospital because they had to have major surgery because of all the smoking damage, some of them were very special. Some of them, it just felt like they had a switch and they could just stop smoking, just like that. They said, that's it, I quit, I'm not smoking anymore. I've got a family to look after. There's no way I'm doing this anymore. Their emotional fuel was enough to break a bad habit that has lasted for decades. So if you're gonna make this change, you gotta be serious and you gotta have real emotional fuel behind you, because that's the only thing that is gonna fuel you to break past these barriers and these old bad habits. Some people use anger. They're like, how the hell did I get myself in this situation? I'm not doing this anymore. And some people use fear because they're scared of what could possibly happen if they let themselves continue down this path. And I know that there's a doctor telling you to focus some of your negative energy. It's not a bad thing. If you focus your negative energy, that is probably the strongest fuel that we have to do really important things in life. And step 2 is to identify the pain that you have in your life. All addictions scientifically have a common process, whether it's cocaine or social media. When people become truly dependent, it's because it helps them to escape and soothe a pain that they have in their life. If, like a lot of people in modern society right now, you feel lonely and you feel isolated, social media helps you to feel connected with people. Because if in your brain you don't feel like there's any opportunity for real, genuine connection, then you will settle for pictures and text on a screen. Some people say they're not lonely. Some people say that they're just bored. But boredom really is just a temporary feeling of meaninglessness. And so scrolling on social media gives you a way of occupying your mind so you don't have to feel that sense of meaninglessness. So the next stage is to sit by yourself and get to the root of why you use social media. Why do you have this problem? Because there will be gaps in your life that social media is just a really bad plaster for that you need to fix. Because if you're ever going to remove social media from your life properly, you are going to need to address and fill all of these gaps that you have in your life that is driving you to use social media in the first place. And the third step is dopamine trading. This is one of the most important things that you need to grasp that is different to all of the other advice that you get. Let me give you an analogy. Let's compare this to a diet. Most people fail their diets because all they do is focus on taking away all the unhealthy food they have. But then inevitably, because they don't have a plan, they get really hungry. And then they just eat the first thing that they can find. And then they obviously fail their diet. To actually have a successful, healthy eating plan, you need to substitute and trade unhealthy foods for other healthier foods that you also enjoy, that make you feel full and stop you from being hungry. It's the same with the activities that you use to get dopamine in your daily life. You can't just take away all of the sources that you currently have for your dopamine, because then you will feel hungry, and so then you will revert back to old habits and the easiest thing you can get, which is social media. And so from the last step, you have identified where the gaps are in your life, whether you haven't got meaning or you don't have any connection and you feel isolated. And then you need to write down alternative activities that you could do that would solve each of those problems specifically. And this will basically be like your healthy diet plan. So if you feel lonely, then organize chats or calls with your friends, or organize in-person meetups with your friends. And if you haven't got many friends around you that you can access, try to look into local sports clubs or local societies that you can join. And the thing is with that is that you'll get even more dopamine by talking to people in real life than you'll ever get from scrolling your phone. And so when you have all of that, it's just an easy switch to make. And if you feel bored or meaningless, you need to think about what kind of person you want to be. You need to think about what the positive effect you want to have on the people around you. Us as humans are designed to strive towards something that is bigger than ourselves. Even if it's just, I want to make sure my family's okay. Then you see that you're not quite there yet, and there are certain skills that you need to build, and then making progress gradually in each of those areas that you think are really meaningful. That's what's going to give you lasting dopamine, way more than scrolling on any app. You give yourself activities that you are designed to feel fulfilled in, and that's going to make it easy, like unbelievably easy, to quit social media, because that's just a poor excuse for real life. This is literally all you need to quit social media. But if you want to execute even faster on this plan, then you need to train your discipline. And I went a lot more in depth about discipline and how to get it and how to maintain it so you can execute on this plan to quit social media. And I think watching this video would be really, really useful for you.